Well, ladies and gentlemen, of all the tanks that they could have made T10, they made the Kampfpanzer 70 a T10 collector heavy tank. I've always wondered why Wargaming decided to do this ever since it was announced in the upcoming update, and obviously now the update is amongst us for about a week or so now. It's sort of still not hit me as to why they decided this is the tank that needs to become a T10. Because it wasn't particularly an incredibly OP tank at T9 by any stretch of the imagination. It was a really good tank, it just wasn't ridiculously OP. I mean, the statistics of the tank is alright. It's pretty good. You know, the turret armor is 215 mils on the front, 100 on the rear. You got 150 mils on the front of the hull. It's nicely well angled. You do have a big, lower plate, but again, you can sort of, it is negligible in the sense that you can actually, go hold down and use your gun depression to your advantage. And you can do that. You can definitely do that. As standard, you get 2400 DPM, which I believe is slightly more than what you got when it was at T9, because when it was at T9 it had a 15-second reload. If I were to run this thing with gun rammer, which I am running this thing with gun rammer, it's giving me a 13.95 seconds. If I run this thing with calibrated shells, my penetration does go up quite a bit, especially the HE pen, which goes up to 102 mils, which, to be fair, I would rather have than have 2400 DPM. So yes, my reload is 14.68 seconds, but I do get 272 mils of AP pen. Heat is 350 and 102 on my high explosive. I want that now. So obviously, if you run this in with calibrated shells, which I preferably would, you have that extra bit of penetration. You will lose some DPM, but again, it makes up for it. Now, if I were to obviously run this thing with full provisions and run this thing with a gun rammer, you can probably get up to 2500 DPM, but I'm going to stick to the calibrated shells right there. So currently it is up to 2400 DPM with 13.89 second reload, which is perfect. And again, you have that extra bit of penetration, so definitely worthwhile. 560 alpha as standard, 640 on your HE. So again, basically the same statistics. The only difference is that it's got slightly better DPM, and in terms of gun handling, it's slightly better, and that's about it, really. It's literally a T9 tank at T10 with slightly better statistics than it already had. So yeah, we're going to showcase a replay in the Kampfpanzer 70 by Mervilius. She's playing on Alpenstadt, and she's going to show us exactly how this tank can perform at T10. It being a T9 tank and all, and it's officially a T10 tank. Look, I'm all for Wargaming deciding to move certain tanks up a tier, but was it really necessary to move the Kampfpanzer 70? I mean, we already have the Leichtpanzer 07 PE at T9, which is an amazing tank, in all retrospect. Why is it that the Kampfpanzer 70 was the one that was singled out as the tank to put at T10? I just don't understand. I'm not complaining. I just genuinely don't understand why Wargaming thought it was a good idea to do that. I want to know their think processes and as to why they decided to do this, because honestly, I genuinely have no idea. Well, here she is. She has spotted a Kranwagen, and she's worried about that. Oh my god, the bloody 183 has already killed the Sheridan on her team. She completely missed that shot. The E100 just decides to go and just ram the bloody Kranwagen. It's always good when big dog heavy tanks do that. Now she's going to switch to her HE, which is a very good strategy there. Oh, and by the way, I forgot this tank has tungsten as well. So of course you can do a stupid amount of damage every time you fire that shot. So that was over 700 damage with the HE to the rear of that tank. She's going to get a 594 alpha shot into the lower plate of the E100, which is a nice shot. There, the E100 does clear the Kranwagen, which is one less tank to worry about. But they are down 2 tanks, and the enemy team is now down 2 tanks as well, which is good, because the grill's now gone. So it was a devastating thing, but she has lost half her hit points. Now, there is an enemy Kampfpanzer over there, and that enemy Kampfpanzer just realized what it's like to reverse side scrape out in the open against 2 big dog heavy tanks, especially in the E100 form. Now, that 183 is going to be a bit of an issue because he's done a bit of damage. E100 is facing the enemy E100, and he has the 128mm instead of the 150, so very interesting indeed. Of course, the 183 does end up killing the E100, which is a bit unfortunate there. So, you know, all's wells and ends wells, as they say. But it is a bit of a tricky situation, because now it's a 3 versus 4 situation. Caro does kill the Progetto 65. But she gets a nice 642 alpha shot into the lower plate of the E100, and now they are down 2 tanks to 4. The E100 is a one-shot. She's going to hopefully get a bounce. No, unfortunately, she doesn't, but she clears the tank in good retrospect there. But obviously, the E100 is going to be devastating with that DPM, but of course, he's got to turn his whole turret around. Can she get that last shot in? Oh no, her gun depression on the other side. Oh, thankfully, her friendly 183 actually killed the E100 for her, which was great, because that gun depression on the sort of back half of the tank is horrible. Over the arse end of the tank is terrible. The 183 gets a massive shot into the enemy 183. She gets a fire as well, so she does quite a bit of damage. The 183 does kill our friendly 183, but that just leaves him on a one shot, so it should be easy for our protagonist here to clear him, and yes, she does exactly that. So she's on 4,028 damage, and she's got 2 kills. There's still the enemy Caro 45T, which there he is right there, actually. The Caro is a devastating tank, and she ends up killing him with one shot. That Caro made the horrible decision of decidedly just sticking there and waiting, instead of actually flanking Mary. Instead, what he did was just stand there and just do nothing. Fantastic work there, you absolute legend. Yeah, you got wrecked. Decidedly so. But there you go. There is the Kampfpanzer 70 at T10 against only T10 tanks. And you can... Oh my god, I mean, the Caro literally did 1,000 damage. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the type of player that he is. But there you go. Mervillus literally did 4,562 damage, 3 kills. Like, nothing crazy. But, I mean, if you know how to play the tank, you can make this tank work at T10 pretty damn well. So, I know it's a Tier 10 tank now, and it's, you know, it's supposed to be a Tier 9. But, alas, or whatever you want to call it, it is what it is, and the tank is at Tier 10 now. And I think it's actually not bad. I think it's a pretty good move. I'm not going to say it's the best move ever, but it's a pretty decent move, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna say no to that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Kampfpanzer 70 being a T10 tank now. Otherwise, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family, and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.